Welcome to today's episode. I'm Sarika, joined by Amel from Mac25 Immigration Firm, and we are diving into a critical issue right now: the surge in certificate of sponsorships, CUS, rejections, and license suspensions in the UK. Here's a picture you need to know. In the 3 months up to September 2024, the Home Office refused nearly 40% of sponsored license applications, up from around 20% historically. Throughout 2024, there were 1,342 suspensions and 1,222 license revocations, a dramatic rise compared to previous years. In just quarter 2 2024 alone, 1,023 employees had their license cancelled, and that's almost double the Q1 figure of 519. These numbers tell a powerful story. The Home Office is cracking down hard, with rejection rates almost doubling and license cancellations spiking dangerously. That spells real trouble for employers trying to sponsor talent and potential obstruction for skilled workers aiming to enter the UK. Today, we are speaking with Amel to unpack the underlying causes, compliance failures, paperwork gaps, policy tightening, and most importantly, what you must do to protect your sponsorship status and CUS approvals. Stay tuned. This is essential listening if you are involved in UK immigration or sponsor license management. Hi Amel, welcome to Your Knowledge Buddy. And if you don't mind, can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yeah, I'm an ex-international student. My name is Amel. I'm an immigration lawyer. My company name is Mac25 London, and I help everyone from international student to businesses and people who are looking to get any kind of immigration assistance.
Okay. Given that you are an expert in CUS and helping people and the businesses in terms of registering or applying for a CUS, today's topic will be on CUS because the number of rejection has gone up drastically in the last quarter or even the last month. So we all know that CUS was being rejected before. It's not a new thing. But suddenly what I see and what I read in the blogs and talking to people, I think the number has gone up. So I wanted to understand from you, because you're dealing this on a daily basis. Why suddenly do you think that a CUS is getting rejected so much?
Firstly, I would say the number is huge. The exact number is not yet out, but the number is huge because Home Office wants to make sure that there is a sudden shift in this immigration things which is happening right now as we see in 2025. But these things started in 2024 because everyone is under pressure to reduce the net migration. So Home Office is putting everything at a scrutiny to see that if an X company has applied for a certain amount of COSs for this specific role, what is the reason? And they want to know everything in detail. So everything is getting challenged, whether it's defined COS, whether it's undefined COS. So the huge number, because if we see, Sarika, the number of skilled worker visa is increasing to another level, I would say, in terms of application. So that's the reason everything is under scrutiny now.
Can you also remind my audience what is defined COS and undefined? I know we covered previously in the last video, but just a little bit of reminder to my audience, please.
So undefined COS is something where the company wants to hire somebody who's already local in the UK, maybe on a student visa, on graduate route, skilled worker visa route, global talent, or any other specific route apart from short-term visa, visitor visa, or domestic worker, something like that. And defined COS is something where you hire somebody internationally from different parts of the world. And if you have identified somebody, let's say from Germany, you can hire them in any part of the world. So defined is international, undefined is local.
Okay. When you talked about the rejection for COS, is there any particular industry where you see there is most number of rejection happening versus another industry or area where there is less or there is none?
Not showing off. I've worked with like more than 20 industries now, but the more amount of enquiries we are getting specifically from IT, hospitality, constructions, and obviously healthcare. But I think there's a sudden increase in the number of newly registered businesses as well who recently got the sponsor license, because Home Office actually want to see that on what level the business is trading if they've recently got the license. So I think these industries, as long as, and apart from them, the new companies as well who recently got the license.
Okay. I'm surprised to hear about IT. So do you get also IT? I thought because IT is in...
A lot of them. I think because I do a lot of IT companies are my client. So I think it's very shocking for me as well. But irrespective of the roles and the salary, whatever you put up to, everything is getting challenged.
Okay. So when sponsors who are employers, when they get queries from the Home Office, what are those queries typically of? What does it contain?
So it depends on the industries. Let's say I'll tell you one of my hospitality client who has a chain of restaurants in London itself. So he was inquired about his menu, his marketing materials, how he advertises his job, the entire recruitment process, the reason why he wanted to apply this vegetarian chef, what is the reason behind it, how much money you have in the bank account, last 6 months of bank account statements. That is just one example. Where it's construction companies, they want to see client contracts, and it also for the IT companies as well, show the client contracts, how many people you have currently, how you pay them salary. One of my client recently this month, they got about like 20 documents request.
Wow, 20 is
20.
huge. Which
Yes.
industry?
IT.
Oh, so like you said, client contract.
Yeah.
What else do you think they would be asking?
So
if it's
it
20?
is most to do with the bank statements, how you pay your salary. So they want to see the payroll summary, that in the past 6 months how you were performing and how efficient you were in paying your salary and taxes to HMRC. They want to see the level of recruitment, why this specific role, why for this specific company, if there is a client contract, what is your revenue right now. I think those are some examples, and obviously home office are already aware about what is happening behind the scenes as far as that particular company is concerned. Yeah.
That's a
So-
reason. So do they list like these are the 20 documents we needed?
Exactly.
Or do they kind of just put a query? How do you pay salary to your employees? What do they say?
No, it's exactly like 20 head points, the
Okay.
20 bullet points you get in the email.
Okay.
Yeah, and you need to justify them. Sometimes 20 documentation becomes a lot of, justification and informative representation you need to make to justify. Let's say if I'm saying 20, one could be send us your website link, send us your job advertisement link.
Oh.
All those small bits also includes to that 20 things. So
Okay.
yeah.
And do you think after submitting those 20 points or documents, will this US be approved, or have you also seen even after submitting those documents, there are rejections?
On a monthly basis, we do a lot of representation letter, whether it's defined COS, undefined COS, irrespective of the number and the industry. I think that's the most difficult part. It's more difficult in getting a license, I would say. People say that getting a license is a challenge. No, getting a license is the most easiest thing. Getting a COS is the most difficult part right now. So at the end of the day, the kind of representation you make to the home office, we are getting successful. But in some scenarios, we have seen the home office, if you request 5 of them, home office is not satisfied by looking at the numbers financially. They'll give us 3. So they also mention in the approval letter, you requested 5, but we are giving you 3 because of these reasons. So those things also we need to keep in mind. If you requested 5, do you actually have that amount of balance in your account? Do you actually earn that much? So those small things matters a lot.
And how do they respond to it? Is just by replying to the email they get, or is it through post?
No. They send you an email. They send you a letter via email that this is what the decision is. This is what, and the good thing about this country immigration is that they specify that what is the reason of the refusal. Obviously, for acceptance, there is no. It's only happiness. We don't see why we are lucky in life, but we always see why we are unlucky. So I think they mention the reason quite nicely, quite descriptively, and then you can work towards that, and then you can submit a new application.
Okay, and it's all done online.
Everything is online.
Online, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Do they also visit home office, or they will send some inquiries, or do they come and visit?
For the COS, I haven't seen. Nobody comes in until and unless they want to conduct a compliance check post license.
Okay. Are there any specific red flags that lead to a COS being scrutinized or refused from whatever you have handled or seen so far?
I think there are few where you give very borderline salary. Let's say if you're hiring somebody on a graduate route, you exactly give them £31,000, or you exactly give them a role of a business development executive, a marketing consultant, sales executive, a supervisor, customer service manager. Those are the roles that come to my mind, which is at £31,000. So home office wants to see if you are an IT company, do you exactly need a customer service manager? Or maybe if you are in hospitality, do you actually need a sales executive? Because those are small bits, the description, the salary, and even when you make an application, because there are few companies who do not take immigration expert services, they do it on their own. So they are not able to justify that if I'm hiring a business development executive, what is the SOC code? What is the exact salary I'm going to give? What that specific person is going to do in the business? So there are so many permutations and combinations, that red flag comes up to.
So how important do you think it is now to justify the business need for a role before applying for a COS?
Very important. You have to have a compelling justification to the home office. If I'm hiring, let's say, a paralegal in my company, if I have a sponsor license, I have to be very clear about it, what that paralegal is going to do, how I have identified that paralegal, what is the salary I'm going to give, what would be the SOC code, and how we are going to perform certain things. Because your justification is the, I would say, very crucial in terms of not just your current success of COS, in your future applications as well. I have seen one of my software testing client, when we actually made them justification that this is the contract this client have got and that is the reason they want to apply for COS. We applied for 3 COS the next time. We never had any inquiries.
Right.
Because people think, okay, Amil, it's just one time, let's do this. Give me a specific reason why you want to hire somebody in marketing. Give me the reason so I can actually justify it to the home office. This is the reason they want to hire. It's as simple as that.
Okay. So it's getting more difficult then nowadays as compared to what it was before, because they were not scrutinized, or I don't think the employers had thought through so many times in the past before hiring an immigrant, right? So they also challenge, why don't you hire the local people as compared to someone who's not a local?
See, that is the most important thing in the inquiries, VC Sarika.
Yeah.
What is your recruitment process? How are you able to hire Amil in your company? How did you identify Amil in the first place?
Correct.
That is important. If you are hiring somebody, you need to justify. You cannot find somebody over the road. You cannot hire a pedestrian, right? You need to have a process in place, not for this particular candidate, but what is your recruitment strategy going forward? We get this kind of questions from the home office.
What if someone found a job through some networking sessions? They met someone and they said, okay, this is my email ID, ping me email, and then I'll book a meeting with you, like an interview or something. Right. So how do people justify that?
Fair enough. Just be very open and clear.
Okay.
Because I get many clients, specifically this happens in IT, that normally do not advertise. You get it from a referral or maybe somebody is your colleague back in India who's brilliant in development, software development and things like that. And you do not just stage the, the recruitment process. You just tell it to the home office, this is the reason I know this person and this is how I want to hire him. And because this is his skills. So I think if you be very transparent, because I have done a lot of referral cases as well, where there was no advertisement, there was no such specific strategy to just show that how somebody hired someone. It's just that we met somebody through a friend, and sometimes I put the friend's name as well. This is the friend's name, you can cross check. So that is important. You have to be very clear, very transparent and clear in your approach.
But yes, the goal is to cut down the net migration. Yes, people will be challenged now. Employers will be challenged if they hire someone from abroad or someone who's already in the UK but who require a sponsored job later on, right?
Unless they work with us.
Okay. Moving to the next question, Amil. You did say something in the beginning, but I want to ask you again. Are newly licensed sponsors more likely to be questioned than the experienced ones, or is the process the same?
No, actually that's true, because as far as I have seen new companies, like recently we got a license for a startup which was 3 months old, okay, and they applied for a COS and they got an inquiry from the home office, and that was an international COS. So that's a digital marketing agency. We requested for a role of a digital marketing analyst. So the home office sent us an inquiry, and that's okay. But as far as my bigger clients are concerned, who are well established in the UK for the past 10 years, even they are not immune. Even they get inquiries. But with the new companies, always like that have you got your trading in place, how much money you're having coming in your bank account, because you're a new business, you're a new startup. So do you have enough amount of money in your bank to actually give somebody like 40,000 pounds? So that justification as a new business is very important. But as I said, old business is also not immune.
So both get, but maybe more the new one, because they are the first time applying for it, and then they want to make sure all your process and your documents are in place before you hire someone, right? Okay, Amil, moving to the next question, and this is around how can sponsors ensure that their job role description, it matches the SOC code appropriately?
This is very interesting thing, recently I did one post on LinkedIn, which is my number one post, I would say, till now on my social media and my career, I would say. So there is something called as Cascode tool. So that Cascode tool has been developed by the home office, I think a couple of years back, where it actually gives you score of the specific role you want to hire. Let's say if I want to hire a marketing consultant, so I need to put the role marketing consultant. So it will give me the score that this code scores 100% for this role, and these are the duties that specific person can perform. I think that specific tool has been not utilized well, or I don't think so, it's not marketed well. But when I speak to my superiors who are like barristers and other solicitors, they also say the same thing, that people are not utilizing it well. So right now I'm only telling my clients and my potential clients as well, or maybe who does consultation with me, that use the tool. So if you're not aware about the role, whether this role is there in the SOC code or not, you won't always score 100. Sometimes you'll score 80, sometimes you'll score 75. But at the end of the day, if you are into that green section and you get specific amount of description that yes, this person is going to perform this role, I think you'll be good to go.
Okay, I have never heard of it. Can you just specify the website or something?
Yeah, Cascode tool, or we can just put the link in the description.
Okay, and there you just need to give the, like you said, the job code or the description,
Exactly.
and it gives you this code.
Just the job title, that's it.
That's it, and it gives you the details of it, everything.
Score, description, and what SOC code suits the role.
Okay, and where does this score comes from? What do you mean by when you say marketing, say the score is 20 or 30?
So this software has been developed by the Home Office themselves. So if you go on the Gov website to check any specific roles or salaries, on the first page at the top, you can see the link of that specific link.
Oh, I want to understand the score. What is this score about? So any job code or job role people can write. What is the scoring does?
Because see, not every role is there in the SOC code. Okay,
correct.
Not every role is there. So for example, recently one of our clients, something got refused, and he applied for a role of a chef, but the Home Office said no, this description is for a cook.
Oh,
Because if he would have typed the specific job role, it would have said no, it scores 0, you cannot hire. So when we got the refusal letter, we saw, oh, cook is not in the SOC code. So Home Office specifically said in the refusal letter that you need to use the Cascode tool, put the job title, and put the description accordingly in the COS.
so all the jobs which are listed in the SOC code, for that the score will be 100, it means?
100, 75, 80, whatever matches the exact description. Because sometimes people don't just type software engineer exactly.
They'll do software.
Azure cloud engineer, .NET developer, website maintenance. So these are the few, because I recently did one in the morning, so it's quite fresh in my mind.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, good. I learned something new. This was good for me. I'm going to explore this tool. And of course, the links will be in the description, guys. If you want to go and check it out, you can as well. Good. Moving to the next one. What are the consequences of not responding correctly or in time to a Home Office COS query? So first of all, what is the SLA given? Do they say reply within next 14 days, 1 month?
5 working days.
5 working days only?
5 working days. It is very important because since the time it has started, the time frame is exactly the same.
Okay.
Whether it's a defined COS or an undefined COS, 5 working days is the ultimatum. So it is very important to make sure whether it's 20 documentations, 5, 10, 30, doesn't matter. Your argumentation, your justification should be very compelling, and it needs to be on time. There are some people recently, I won't take names, but they said, we just ignore it. We just don't reply to the Home Office and we'll apply it again. So I said, don't you think the inquiry will come again, or maybe it would trigger the compliance check? So exactly that happened. So they applied for a COS, the inquiry came, they didn't respond it, and then they applied again, they got the inquiry again. I said, if you do not reply right now, it would definitely trigger compliance check, because if you actually have a requirement or a vacancy, why don't you be just open up about it? Just explain them what documentations you have and what you don't. Because I have learned one thing in the past 1 year, Sarika, and I'll be very honest, and this is to everybody who's watching right now. You have to be very transparent. Don't think about, I don't have this specific HR system, Amil, I don't have this specific recruitment process, or I don't have any, shiny object to show it to the Home Office. It doesn't matter. Some of my clients still does their attendance on Excel sheet. Some of my salon clients still does it on the paper. You don't need to have a shiny object or a specific HR tool, but be honest to the Home Office and be transparent.
What if, Amil, for some reason they don't have access to their laptop, say for some personal emergency, they are somewhere and they're not able to upload the document, but say they can access the email via phone. What happens in that case? Can they request Home Office to give them additional time explaining their personal situation?
I just did it on Thursday. So one of my client exactly happened the same day. We applied for a sponsor license and the Home Office came back for a pre-license compliance, and on the fourth day they said they have a problem with the system. And then I said, give me the screenshot which says that you cannot access it. Give me a justification from your software guy or whoever is performing the task. So I linked everything. I made the representation letter and submitted to the Home Office. So still waiting for the inquiry. But the problem is sometimes with the sponsor as well. 5 working days means 7 or 8 calendar days, Sarika. Act on day 1.
Yeah, rather than wait.
That's what I always say. You can't come to me on 4th day and say last hour that we are stuck. If they would have done previously, things would have been different.
But what you also did was you send the evidence to the Home
Yeah.
Office, so at least they can see they are not able to access.
Yeah.
They can see the error they are getting, and maybe if they get little confidence, they may extend it for another couple of days so that the error can be fixed. Okay, great. The last question from my side: if a sponsor gets multiple refusals or fails to respond properly, like you've already explaining now, can it lead to sponsor license suspension or revocation?
Sponsor license suspension or revocation is a big thing, but it would definitely trigger compliance check, post license audit by the Home Office. What is the reason why it's getting refused? Are you not able to justify them well? Are you not able to take any immigration assistance? Or maybe you don't have a genuine vacancy. So what wrong is happening? At the end of the day, because when your COS is refused, you get multiple reasons in the letter that this is why your COS have been refused. Why you're not working on the mistakes and you're forwarding it again and again and again. So sometimes I feel the onus is on the sponsor that they have to be very specific about the requirement they have and then justify. Don't rush, don't panic. Everybody is getting it right now. Somebody tells me, Amil, do you think we have got this amount of turnover in the bank? No, you might get it. Home Office is not tracking your bank account right now, how much money is sitting in your account, unless they ask you for it. But at least give them the justification. This is what you have, this is how you're going to fund, and you'll be fine.
Okay. One question I wanted to ask. For any COS inquiries or refusal, do they also physically visit you? Or
No.
is it only the time of the visa, when you apply for the visa, like a skill visa, then they visit you if needed?
They only visit you when they have a doubt on the license.
Okay.
That is called a compliance check.
Okay.
It could be a pre-license compliance check, post-license compliance check. Both could be announced or unannounced, but no visit has been happened till now, and I've never heard it from anyone till now for the COS.
Okay. Good to know that.
It's all digital compliance.
Oh, nice. That's good. UK is a digital country now.
It is,
yeah?
it is,
yeah. Okay. So good. We covered almost a lot of important points and topics with COS, so that people can be careful when they apply for it, especially for employers, so that later they don't have to face any problems. If you start with strong foundation of the reasons and the documents, you can avoid rejection. Any final thoughts before we conclude today's video?
We have spoken a lot, but see, I'll say the most disaster thing I have seen the sponsor does is the panic. I understand. I see a lot of people coming to me that, nothing is happening. How should we do this? I don't have this documentation. You have got 7 working days. Work on it. You just need to give a justification. Half of the documents you can get from your accountants. Half of your documents you need to put at least some amount of time, make it, justify, and send it to the Home Office. Because if you want to run a business while having a sponsor license, want to hire somebody, you have to go through this process. We are sitting here in half of 2025. When we make a podcast, I hope next year 2026, we don't know how the rules are changing.
Correct.
What scrutinization is happening when white paper has now come. We don't know what proposals are going to be a legislation. So we have to just be and live the way the things are. That's the only my suggestion would be.
Okay, good. Okay. Thanks, Amil. On that note, thank you very much for coming and recording this video. And to my audience, I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, you can leave that in the comment section, or even you can reach out to us on ykb@mac25.co.uk.